I'm a fair guy. I am. So when it comes to the Fantastic Four movies, at least the first two, I tried to enjoy them. I tried to have fun with them. And the first movie, I think, has enough good moments to where I'm okay with it. But the second movie, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, I have too many issues with this movie that it had to be hit with an unholy rant. This movie is directed by Tim Story, who also did the first Fantastic Four. This film opens up with Reed Richards having a bachelor party. And look, I know that sometimes it's fun to see our superhero characters in situations that normal people are in, but how different is it for them because they have powers, right? Or they're special, right? Okay, fine, decent idea, but when you have Mr. Fantastic on the dance floor with several different girls and he's using his stretching ability to dance with girls even across the floor, and it's so cringy. It's so bad to watch. And this is how you start the movie. That's where we move to Sue Storm and Reed's wedding. At this point, because they're superheroes, they're kind of like celebrities in New York. It's a big time event, and I like this because that is how their wedding was like in the comic books. And you see special people showing up, and right when they're about to get married, though, the Silver Surfer arrives. He looks cool. He looks comic book accurate, and it's kind of the one great thing about this movie is almost everything about him. But when he shows up, Johnny Storm chases after him, and these two have an awesome chase. Going through the tunnels and subways, they eventually wind up all the way out into the middle of nowhere where the Silver Surfer grabs him by the neck, brings him up into space, and then drops him. And I just enjoy this because it's such a comic book moment. It's such a comic book thing to see two superpowered characters like this chasing each other. And this is where you reveal that the Silver Surfer, because of his alien like powers, they don't really know what or how it happened. But because of his interaction with Johnny, Johnny now, when he touches somebody, a member of the group, they swap powers. This too is in the comic books, so sure, fine. This is something interesting for, I guess, the group to do, or an ongoing running gag for them to do every time Johnny touches somebody and they end up swapping powers. But the moment when he accidentally swaps powers with his sister, Sue Storm, and she's on fire, and she's outside, and she can't control her powers, it's sure, fine. It's over the top and it's goofy. She becomes visible, and she sees herself in front of these people, and she runs away. It just seemed like a forced moment to embarrass Jessica Alba, really for no reason. And speaking of Jessica Alba, let's talk about her. Jessica Alba as Sue Storm. I don't hate Jessica Alba. I'm not saying that 100%. Her casting is the problem, but she is the weakest actor in this movie. You do watch her deliver some of her lines and some of her facial expressions, and you do feel like there's something lacking there. I read an interview recently that this movie specifically almost made her quit acting because of how much of a hard time she had with Tim Story, the director, because every time she wanted to do a scene or do something maybe more emotional or have some more energy to it, he would tell her, no, you can't cry, you can't look sad because you have to always look beautiful. You know, you have to deliver your lines in such a monotone way so that you're not moving your mouth as much so that you could still look beautiful. And if that's true, then F you, Tim Story. You're holding back an actor who has some sad scenes, or has some scenes that maybe make her more relatable or more vulnerable, and you're holding her back because you just want to keep her attractive. Trust me, her making a particular face isn't going to make Jessica Alba all of a sudden not attractive. It's crazy to me that that's what the mindset was. That's what they, I guess, wanted her to do. Or maybe she's just coming up with an excuse for why she's bad in the movie. Either way, though, it's a problem. Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, I really like him as well as Johnny. He is so charismatic, he's funny, he has that energy that you want this character to have and feel. He loves these powers, he loves being a hero, he loves saying flame on, and he looks cool with the effects as well. And there's a girl, a captain in the military that he's constantly flirting with, and she turns him down over and over again, but you know it's just a matter of time before he does get her. And guess what? He does. It's still, though, bizarre to me that Chris Evans eventually would go on to become Captain America. I never, watching him in these movies, you never would think he would be perfect for that role, but he was. Ian Grufford as Reed Richards, I think, is fine. He's fine. He doesn't do anything, or his performance doesn't annoy me or anything. I just don't know if I 100% buy his chemistry with Sue Storm, and that's important because these two are supposed to get married. I'm supposed to care about that. Michael Chiklis as the Thing, he is great. I mean, great actor. I love that the Thing costume is practical because it gives Michael Chiklis actually something to do physically. He's in the suit, he's interacting with the actors. It's not just a CGI guy walking around. And I know some people want the Thing to be even bigger, but I was okay with how he looks here. Kerry Washington. Let us not forget the fact that Kerry Washington has been in a Marvel movie in these movies as the Thing's girlfriend. She plays Alicia, who's blind. And I like her, but I feel like the second movie, they don't let her do enough. She's just kind of here just to be here. And I want to mention this character, the General, who when the Fantastic Four starts working with the military to figure out what the Silver Surfer is and what he's doing and why he's targeting certain places, this general is such a dick. He's an absolute dick. He's being a dick to Reed Richards. You eventually find out that they have a past in school together and that he's always been a bully to him. And this is just something for Reed Richards to overcome and eventually come back and put him in his place, but not needed. This isn't the movie to have that type of relationship with this guy in this way. We get a scene of the Silver Surfer. He goes to Latveria because that's where I guess Doctor Doom was placed after the end of the first movie. And the two of them have a conversation, but Doom goes to attack him, and Silver Surfer attacks him first. And this is weird because this burst of energy comes from the Surfer and attacks Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom, because of the experiment and the space cloud from the first movie, it disfigured him, and that's why he wears the Doom mask. And okay, fine, maybe sure he's not a world dictator of the country of Latveria like he should be, but at least he looks comic book accurate with the Doctor Doom costume, right? So I was willing to go along with that. I was willing to be okay with that. But this interaction with the Surfer heals his wounds, heals his face so that he looks like a regular guy now. Great. Silver Surfer, in a way of attacking, in a way of defending himself, ends up curing you? What type of attack is that? Oh, hey, I'm going to fight you with this ray of energy, but hey, it's also going to cure you of whatever disease you might have. So This is just an excuse for Julian McMahon, the actor who plays Doctor Doom, to not have to wear the costume and be himself. And I don't care for that. I don't care how these mid 2000s superhero movies always seem to want to find a way to put these actors, have their faces in the forefront, because you don't want to have too much of the comic book looks, right? Why do that? And then Doom ends up working with the military and the Fantastic Four to help them catch Silver Surfer. And how does this make sense? They're going to argue that Silver Surfer is too much of a big threat, and that's what we're worried about. That's what we care about. Okay, fine, but Doom is still a huge criminal who did some messed up things, who was locked away and just shows up at your doorstep. Why are you just accepting him to be back a part of the team? It doesn't make sense. You would think they would immediately put him in a cage, but they don't. Of course, they don't. The military captures the Silver Surfer. They capture him in the forest. And I should mention that the Silver Surfer, he's played by Doug Jones, but he's voiced by Lawrence Fishburne. And I really like that. I like the idea that Lawrence Fishburne did the voice, one, but two, I also liked how he sounds, how he has a comfort to his voice. It almost lets you know that he's not necessarily evil, or that he's not necessarily doing this just because he wants to. Sue Storm forms a bond, a connection with Silver Surfer. She goes to visit him while he's captured, and this is where she finds out about his wife and about how he's being forced to go from planet to planet and to get it ready to be destroyed by somebody he's working for. And this is nice. It gives Sue Storm something to do other than just sit around and mope over the fact that she didn't get married. And you get some hint of who Silver Surfer is working for. But before we get there, Doctor Doom, surprise, surprise, he only was helping them try to capture Silver Surfer because he knew that that board that the Surfer was on, that harnessed a bunch of energy, and he wanted to use it for power. And so he steals the Surfer's board. He goes off and kills some of these military guys, and he goes off to cause mayhem and destruction. Wow! I am really shocked. What a swerve! I thought that Doctor Doom was really going to be good this time, right? Another thing that doesn't really make sense is because Doom was healed, because he doesn't have to be disfigured anymore, it doesn't really make sense that he puts the Doctor Doom costume back on. It doesn't. I like that he puts it back on because I prefer for him to always have that suit and costume and that mask and the hood on. But you already established in the story that he's cured, so why does he put it on? What's the point of it? The Fantastic Four chases Doctor Doom in their jet, which was very cool to see the group with their jet, and you get a decent chase scene, I guess. The group winds up in Tokyo, and they have a big battle with Doom there. He is destroying things and hurting people, and you come back to that ongoing running gag of Johnny having the ability to take people's powers and swap them, and he touches all of them. He gains all of their powers, and he has a pretty cool fight scene with Doom with all of his powers, and it makes you think, well, maybe we don't need the other group. Maybe you just keep Johnny with all of these powers. Although, how do you control that? How do you control which member of the group got all of the powers, and how would they all just go to one person? If he touches all of them, how are they, like, wouldn't it just swap out for other people in the group, and wouldn't everybody else just get a different power? Okay, I'm overthinking it. Fine. Sue Storm gets injured. In fact, she dies. And this is one of those, like, huh? This came out of nowhere. She gets a rod impaled through her chest, and she dies. And the surfer, though, you see that he can heal her. He brings her back to life. And it's because of her death, because of her sacrifice to him, does he decide to go and kill Galactus. Yes, the Silver Surfer is in fact working for somebody named Galactus. And when he was talking about Galactus and all the stories and about how he destroyed his own planet, and that's how he became almost a slave for him to go off and destroy other planets, you go, what's Galactus going to look like? How epic, how awesome is this character? How evil is he going to look? Because he's a destroyer, he's an eater of worlds. This is going to be insane. Only to see that Galactus is a smoke cloud. What the F? How does this happen? No, seriously, how does this happen? Who's to blame? Is it Tim Story? Is it some poor production guy who drew the storyboards and maybe it was his idea to have it as a cloud? Was it some producer who thinks that they know better and thinks that, oh, well, if you look at Galactus in the comic books, sure, fine, he's giant size, and you might argue that the helmet looks a little goofy, but you still could have done it in a way where he looked scary, looked menacing, looked like an actual person that can talk, that has emotions, that has feelings, that I could buy, is controlling the Silver Surfer against his will. But no, he's just a cloud. He's just a smoke monster that eats planets, similar to that smoke monster from Lost. This, I can't stress enough how horrible this is. Just absolutely horrible. And what's more weird is that the Silver Surfer, when he decides to go against him, when he decides, look, no more, Sue Storm just sacrificed herself. She was willing to die, so I'm going to go and defend Earth. So when he goes up there, all he does is conjure up all of the energy from the board and most of it from himself. And he shoots that energy back at Galactus. And it kills him. It's that easy. There's no big fight. There's no big space battle. There's no brawl. There's no struggle. He just kills him with that one beam of light. And it almost makes you go, why didn't he just do that in the first place? When Galactus destroyed his planet, or when he tried to kill his wife, why didn't he just use all of his energy right then and there? Why did he become a slave to him? Why did he allow all of these planets to be destroyed? If he could that easily kill Galactus, it just doesn't make much sense at all. But because Silver Surfer saved the day, the Fantastic Four are going to take the credit and be the heroes that they are. It seems like Silver Surfer's dead after doing all of that. So the movie ends with Reed Richards and Sue Storm finally getting married, because that's something that we've been craving for and hoping for. They get married in Japan, which I guess just because they stayed in Japan after saving it, they never decided to go back home, I guess. Or maybe while they were there, they saw an area that they thought was a nice idea to be married in. I don't know why they're in Japan. I really don't. And there is an after credits scene that shows Silver Surfer and that he's still alive and that he wakes up and goes off on another adventure. This movie, man, it's frustrating. Like it sucks more when there are good moments in the movie, when there are good character stuff, when I do like the actors, when I do like some of the stuff going on, when tone-wise it does feel like a true to form Fantastic Four story. But they get so much wrong as well. It just I want to know who's responsible for that smoke cloud. I really do. I want to know why Doctor Doom is used as he is in this movie. I want to know Did they really expect to do a spin-off with the Silver Surfer after this? Were we ever going to get a third Fantastic Four movie? What would that have looked like? Well, obviously didn't care after this movie came out because it wasn't quite a bomb, but it didn't make as much money as they thought. So, guys, this movie kind of sucks, kind of, although I do like certain parts of it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer? Do you think it sucks? Do you think it deserved the hate and the rant that I gave it? Or do you think that it has enough redeemable qualities to be something special? Like, comment, subscribe. Later!